Okay, we'd love to get started on this beautiful Saturday morning by asking you all about the story of gems and the evolution of your story and how it got started. It has such an interesting journey, and it looks like you guys started out in 1988 as a wholesale supplier, and eventually you shifted to selling directly to customers online. Can you share what that transition was like and what inspired the move to go direct to consumer?
My dad started a business and he started the business in 1950s. All right. So that's where he came on. He actually went to the mines, emerald mines, bought gemstones, started the manufacturing. And in the 80s, he came to the US, with the dream, the American dream. And he came on and he started wholesaling to a lot of the bigger jewelers around the US. And that's sort of how the business took off, the wholesale business. He slowly added rubies, sapphires, and other gemstones, precious gemstones to the variety that we offer. From there, my brother started. My brother came in to the business.
So, 2001 was when I came into the business. So, family ran business. I mean, I knew beforehand what I was getting into. We both went to NYU Stern, so we both had a chance to really decide whether the finance was the side or whether we wanted to go into this business. And, I saw the opportunity here. And so I said, I'm going to join. So, joining in, once I came in, I'm like, let's see what additions we can make to the business. So Gemstones, we were doing pretty well in, and we saw a lot of opportunity online because there weren't really many people who were really doing gemstone selling or diamond selling for that reason. So I saw Blue Nile, and I'm like, wow, they're selling online diamonds and doing really well, it looks like. So, let's try this approach. So we started the diamond approach. We went up online in 2007, and we thought we were just going to sell diamonds. And
who thought you can sell gemstones online?
yeah,
How are you going to see? How are you going to showcase? And I think
Right.
that we were just surprised when that happened, where when we added, my dad's like, what are you doing? You got to do our core business is gemstones. We're like, no, no one's going to buy these gemstones. Everybody wants diamonds. And so when we added those color stones into the website, it exploded. I mean, everybody loved seeing these gemstones. They're so unique and different. People just thought, oh, rubies are just red. No, they come in pinkish, a lot of different undertones. Same with sapphires, come in a variety of colors. And that sort of transformed. And that we're like, wow, this is a true opportunity. And from there, because of success there, we were able to buy a lot of other gemstones and supply and slowly grow the business. And in turn, our wholesale really grew as well because we were also able to bring more gemstones. So that we never stopped wholesaling. It's still in our blood. We love our jewelers. We just added and expanded the business into the retail space. So I think having both the retail and the wholesale really differentiates us from anybody else because we are able to, for example, certify gemstones at a much lower price point. And that helps our jewelers sell through because we know the customers really value all of that. So I think it's not that we meant to transition. I think we saw an opportunity, in the .com where we can really sell our gemstones because our goal has always been how can we bring more and more color gemstones to the public? And I think we were just very fortunate that we got to the online space and it really helped educate and provide a vast inventory of gemstones that you normally can't find, when you go out and try to go to jewelers and other places many times.
100%. And it sounds like you both are so passionate, both as a family business, but like very customer oriented. And I
Yes.
think digging more into that online aspect as well, it looks like your website and that .com shift helped your company offer so many ways to personalize jewelry, whether it's like your pendants or earrings or bracelets. How does that customization process work at Gems New York? And is it challenging to help customers feel at ease purchasing online when they don't see those beautiful gems that you're mentioning in person?
So, for us, again, it's learning from the customers. Initially, it was just photos, that you see stock photos of the items, just one angle. Then we added three angles. Then like, you know what, let's add 360 videos of these gemstones. Then we added a 3D scan so you can actually see every facet of the gemstone. So we use technology to also help and make the customers feel like they're seeing the actual gemstone. They're touching the actual gemstone. that's how, and for us, what we knew customization and make your own is truly differentiator in the industry. So you touched upon,
Because what happens is a lot of a lot of the other companies that who do sell online or offline, they they feel like, or they portray that they're doing full customization, but they're not, because full customization starts with the center gemstone, because that is the focal point. If you're buying a sapphire ring, it's about the sapphire. Yes, it's about the design and everything as a whole,
Exactly.
but it starts with the sapphire. And us having our own inventory and being able to offer thousands of choices with certification, it truly presents an option which most other people are not able to offer.
And it's, what we have is the make your own concept. You choose your gemstones. We have thousands of those gemstones you can choose from. And then for our settings, we have hundreds of settings. And you can customize those settings by saying, I want a prong metal. And frankly, these are all based on customer feedback. Like, I want more knife edge prongs. There's a trend. So we added that to the website. You can do that for all our settings, They wanted a two-tone where the metal was one for the band and different for the basket. So we added that to the website. Customers wanted GI for even lower. So we added that to the website. You can even certify $500 gemstones if you want. It's sort of like an a la carte. Just whatever you want, we'll let you customize the entire ring, the entire jewelry process. And I see so many couples come in, they're like, wow, I am just like, sometimes almost too many choices. I am just crazy how you guys have so many stones and so many designs. And even if there's designs we do not have, we have frankly, a custom process where you can even send a sketch in. Like, this is what I have an idea, or say, these are 2 or 3 rings I like from your website. How can we bring these aspects together? So we'll send a 3D CAD mock-up of it, so you can see a realistic view of the image. Once they approve it, then we literally 3D print that and we cast in the metal. We use technology to help all of this, and then we cast in the metal the customer wants, and they get a beautiful pieces. And that's why we have great reviews, because we truly are differentiating. Most of competitors, the approach they've taken is, let's just put generic images and then we will just choose for you. We're like, no, why do you do that? Because customization is really letting the customers choose those color stones, because every single gem is unique. Every blue sapphire we offer, you'll see everything is a little bit different. The undertones, the cutting style, every gemstone is truly unique, and the customers can truly choose what they want. And that, I believe, is true customization.
Yeah, and we believe there is really no style pretty much that we can make. So when customers come back to us and say, what can you do? It's more about, what do you want us to help you do?
Yeah.
We're basically a gemstone counselor, you could say. Like, we can make your design the way you want with your choice of the gemstone and your choice of the setting. So it's more about what the customer can envision. We can create it for them.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known about you guys when I was getting engaged. My birthstone is a sapphire, and my husband wanted to do like a personal customization, but going back to your point, he was so overwhelmed by like the setting, the stone. It was like very challenging for him to kind of find a route and make that beautiful. But it sounds like you guys are there for your customers every step of the way to help them realize that dream, even from that 3D printing aspect of like bringing that to life.
Right.
Yes.
And, sometimes customers say, you know what, send me the 3D model. I want to take a look before I purchase. No problem. Whatever the customers want. And just learn from your customers, because they will guide you and help you grow your business. Because if you listen to your customers, they will tell you what you're missing. And I think that's really helped. And because we see it from 2 sides, the wholesale side, we see what they value, and we see from the retail side what they value. I think that whole combination really helps everybody, and I think that's really helped us to grow and scale because of that.
And secondly, I think what happens, the customization is a personal endeavor. So personally, a lot of time you don't know exactly what you want, and you need somebody to hold your hand, to guide, and to envision what they sort of have in mind, but are not really sure. And that's where we feel the customer service that we offer, where we walk you through and hold your hand from beginning to the end. That sort of differentiates also in terms of really helping the customer find what they want, and then really bringing that to life.
Yeah.
And I think part of what stood out when you were sharing your story, so it sounds like your father built this business from the ground up and physically mined for those gems in the 50s. That's absolutely insane.
So honestly, I will correct it, not 50 to 70. So we've been in business 50 5 years, so 70s.
Sorry,
yes.
he's born in the 50s. Yes,
Yes.
right. How can he buy in the 70s?
70s.
That's right.
Thank you for that fact check. But I think going back to that gems aspect, so you offer both certified natural gemstones and lab grown options, all conflict free and backed by trusted labs. You've got eco-conscious choices for buyers who care about sustainability. How do you strike that balance between offering ethically sourced high quality gems and keeping things affordable for your customers?
Sure. So, I think I would separate the colored gemstones and the lab natural, from diamonds and colored gemstones. So I think for diamonds, it was just a natural progression because people were really worried about conflict, the blood diamonds and such. That was such a negative connotation with those natural stones. And that's why we started the lab, because people were like, this is truly a way to be completely sure that this is a pure conflict-free diamond. Because yes, there's a lot of processes in the middle, but that's the only real 100% way you can feel comfortable. There's no mixing, there's nothing. It's lab grown, and it is what it is. So I think that's why we added that to the business. For color gemstones, we added the lab color gemstones with the mindset that it's a lower price point. Natural gemstones are actually fairly expensive gemstones. So we weren't really catering for that $500,000. It's a little more difficult. So the lab really fit into that. They look different. You can actually tell when it's a lab or not with color stones. With diamonds, you cannot tell when there's a difference, So I think lab allows a good price point for customers, whereas the natural gemstones are really for people who want more investment value. I think that's what it's more for. So I think we let our customers choose what they like. We educate them. We let them decide what they value more. And I think for us, we've known our color stone suppliers for decades. I'd say, like my dad's been visiting them since the 70s, not the 50s, the 70s. And so he knows, and he's been doing and visiting their factories. We've known these people. We have dinner with them, lunches, we know their families. And so I think we have a unique perspective that we know where, and we know what the customers are saying. So we say, hey, listen, you need to make sure these policies are in place. We need to protect our customers. They really value this, and they are listening. And we work then, with our suppliers to really ensure for our color stones, that's where it is. And for diamonds, frankly, the lab diamonds was taken out for us because that's the only real way to 100% know that it is conflict free. Now with natural diamonds, they are beginning to trace origins. So finally it's starting. So now that is a differentiation in industry, and you'll see on the certifications we offer many times for those natural diamonds, it will write the origin. For color stones, we've been certifying and putting origins for many of our gemstones.
Yeah, and for color stone, it's not been as big of an issue. I think it's more from diamond, the blood diamonds, which
from Africa,
from Africa. So for gemstone, basically, it's just you want to know the sorting. You want to just make sure that where the gems are coming from. And like Vishal mentioned, we feel confident with the vendor relationships we have, who we've been dealing with 30, 40 years, that we know who we're buying from. I think the issue happens more, like for diamonds, the issue is happening more because the theft that goes on in between, and then a lot of the traceability issues, where in gemstone is not as much of an issue, and especially when we're dealing directly with vendors, when we're buying in very large quantities, really that can only come from the larger vendors as it is. So we know for a fact where our gems are coming from, and we make sure that we're dealing only with the top vendors who we have the relationship with, to ensure that the channels are appropriate how we're getting the merchandise.
100%. I bet that gives customers such a peace of mind when they know that it's coming from an ethical source. I remember watching the movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
And I still have vivid images to this day.
Yeah.
And I was maybe I'll just wear a ring pop on my wedding day just to save. Yeah. But there's other options that are ethically sourced.
Yes.
And really, that's why the gemstone, if you've noticed in the last 2-3 years, gemstone industry has boomed. Like in the last 2-3 years, I would say probably the growth is 30-40%, where the natural diamonds have fallen off. The gemstones have garnered much of that business because people are understanding that gemstones are a good alternative, which don't have the conflict issues which are associated with diamonds. and they're truly unique, with
They're
gems.
rare.
Yeah, they're rare.
We
Right?
go to wholesale shows, I would say 5 years ago, you would say 85, 90% were just only diamond jewelry. Now you go, even all those diamond guys, I'd say 70 to 80% of the vendors are displaying color, and it's exploding. There's so much growth, and we've been lucky that we've been doing color for so long. It's really helped, differentiate us in the industry. People know us for wholesalers. Frankly, I'd say when we have like wholesale networks, and even there, probably like 50 to 60% of entire inventory of color stones in the entire United States is ours. And so we've built a huge, vast inventory where you don't see that. And that's why people are like, wow, how do you have so many stones? I go to a vendor, they have 2, 3 stones. We literally have boxes and boxes, and you can just go through and find exactly what you want. So when customers see that, they're like, oh my God, I'm only buying from you. And then the word of mouth really, really helps, obviously. And I think the good reviews and all those things, I think it just goes on
And then
itself.
the customization is the other aspect of
Yes.
it, right?
So
So it's not only about the stone, people are wanting a finished product,
yeah,
and they need to make sure they like the styles are current, you're helping them
absolutely.
find the right options. So we have a lot of those as well. So
Absolutely.
we try to fulfill the entire spectrum.
You're the best
Absolutely.
one-stop shop in the industry, it sounds like.
For color,
Yeah,
yes.
we
For
like to think
color,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Even a lot of my friends that are recently engaged or married, it's been really interesting to see that shift from more diamonds to, like, one of my good friends has an emerald as their wedding ring, the other has a sapphire. And I feel like years ago that wasn't as common, but you can definitely
Yeah.
see that shift in the industry from like the consumer standpoint as well.
In the last 3, 4 years, I think, it's been the growing trend. People want something different. They want to feel like they're getting something very unique. And really, if you look at most diamond rings, the diamond, yes, it's white and it's sparkle, but they're all about the same. With gemstone, you can really see the difference, right? Ruby, like Vishal mentioned earlier, they come in a lot of different shades. They come in so there's a lot of uniqueness, and then even the origin, where it comes from, even in the matter of the treatments where they come from. So there are a lot of differentiation that is offered in the gemstones, which you would never get in the diamonds. And I think people are recognizing that, and that's why that's an exploding market in the last 3 or 4 years. It has really taken off.
And really, what's really happened the last 3 or 4 years is those lab diamonds have just changed completely the dynamics of the industry. Because what's happening is when you go, people are like always thinking, is that a natural lab? And they're just getting bigger and bigger. And so people are not, even people I see customers want to buy natural, and they're just saying, I just don't want to buy it because people are just going to think I'm wearing a lab, and it's hard to differentiate. And that's why I think people are trying more and more. And people are like, I want to be different, and I think that's just a general trend. And I think jewelry is in itself is a way of personalization. So the fact that you can also, people are seeing, wow, they come in so many variety of colors and things, it's really causing people to appreciate the fact that it's natural, that it's truly of value, that it's truly personable because you get exactly the color you like. Some people like light green, some people like very dark green. Everybody can get exactly what speaks to them. And that's the untreated. Some people want to say, you know what? I don't want any treatment. I want it right from the mine and cut. You can get all of that. So all of these options really differentiate, I think, color gemstones versus diamonds. They're both great, but the fact for us is we want to just provide variety, educate the customers, and let them choose for themselves what they want. There is no right or wrong answer. It's what speaks to you and your hand. You know what you want to flaunt that day. So
100%. I think one of the final questions I have for you, do you have any customer testimonials or stories that come to mind that kind of share your mission and vision as a company? Like somebody might have come into their shop seeking something very specific and you helped make that transformation maybe happen from a sketch to real life to then putting it on their finger.
it happens all the time. Customers come in and, frankly, they are not able to see a vast amount of gemstones. So they come in and they say, oh, I want these darker color gemstones. Say like a ruby, I want a darker ruby. Then they come in like, I actually don't like that. You have so much variety. I actually like that color. I like that. So many stories of people came in thinking they were going to buy this. And then when they saw all the options, we're like, no, I actually like this so much better. And then I think the same thing for the mountings. It's, when we always tell customers, everything is built around the gemstone. So once they find that gemstone, it's like a doll, right? Once you have a doll, you got to decorate it, right? It's how you want to decorate it. And that's frankly what mountings are as well. How do you decorate that gemstone to make it look as beautiful as possible? So gemstones, sometimes they can be deeper, they can be shallower. So we help them find truly that mounting that works the best with that gemstone, that will accentuate its beauty as much as possible. So we if you read, there's so many testimonials about that where they came in with one thing and they bought something completely separate,
Because many times people don't even know what they want, right? They know they want an engagement ring, and they just need consultation from the beginning. They just don't know exactly what color they should get, what is she gonna like. So we can assist them in that process right from the beginning. And that's where really the staff, like our staff is very much trained to help people from the beginning. But the fact of the matter is we carry all type of gems, including diamonds. So if you want a diamond, you want to go the traditional route, we have it. Whether you want the natural lab, we have it. If you want gemstone side, we have all the birthstones to offer, so we have it. So it's really just making sure that we understand from the customer perspective what is it that they're wanting, and really assisting them to get what would work best for their fiance. Like many times, like they'll tell us, like,
Yeah.
She has few rings like that. Like one of the beginning questions we start with, if you're not sure, is, well, what does she currently wear? What colors does she like?
Yeah.
Right? Because many times if you're going the gemstone route, they don't know what stones are offered. Because in blue you
Does
could
she
have
value
sapphire.
natural versus that? And there are a lot of customers who don't know that a lot of these gemstones come untreated. Like, for example, emeralds, untreated unoiled emeralds. Frankly, a lot of people don't even know they exist. And we have probably one of the larger inventories of those. People just don't know these things exist. And so the fact that you can educate customers and then give them all the options, because we work differently, because we're like, we just want to provide the options. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll like from what we have, as opposed to, most people like three options. Here are three options, choose, and that's really what differentiates. So like, we don't try to push any one thing. We have everything. So why don't you just choose what you like? And frankly, when customers come in here, first thing I ask them is a couple of things like, what does she like? And this, and what is your budget? When I show them the gemstones, you'd be surprised. And I show them stones 1,000 and 5,000. You'd be surprised how many times people choose that $1,000 stone. They're like, I never would have chosen this stone. I'm like, yes, because most people think about just buying based on money, not based on what color. And if you can just buy based on what you really like, that's really what it is. We don't want to push customers to spend more. We want to push them to get something that they love. And I think that's what they truly appreciate so many times. Like, God, man, you really helped me save, and you really helped me see what's available. And that frankly makes me excited. And I think our staff also really does it that way. And I think customers really appreciate that, either via virtual consultation or in person. All of those, we're available however customers need us to be available.
So for the people who want this, and I think the people who are going to be engaging in ring route, they definitely want to be involved in the customization process. We have seen that. But for those lower price point items, if you just want a simple gift and you don't want to think too much, I have $1,000 budget, I have a $1,500 budget. We have a lot of preset items as well, which we have developed in our line, where, whether you want a lab sapphire ring or you want a genuine ruby ring in $1,000 price point, we have offered just 3-4 different options, the qualities, so to just make it easier, that process for the customer as well. So that way, if somebody was bought from us multiple times, like, I don't want to think too much. I have $1,000 to spend. I don't have a lot of time. Just give me the best options or what would be that I can offer. We have a tailored preset section for that as well. So we are able to cater both, whether you want full customization to the max, where you don't know what you want at all, and you want us to sketch the item and really help you to from the ground up to create the ring of your dreams, or you just simply want us to tell you between $1,000 to $1,500 or $500,000, what can I quickly get? We have those options as well. So we are like a complete one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
For what you might need.
Absolutely.
That sounds absolutely incredible. And that's so nice, I think, from a customer standpoint for somebody to be able to come in, whether they've done extensive research or they might not have an idea of exactly what they want, that you can kind of cater to customers on both ends of the opposite spectrums. Is there anything else that we missed that you would like to share about Gems New York or about your stories?
I think the only other thing that I could think of is when we first started out, the biggest reasons we didn't think color stones would work is because there is no standardization. So what we actually created is our own grading system for color, for clarity, how the imperfections are, for transparency, how brilliant the gemstone is. I think that really helps because when you have 30,000 gemstones, like how do I choose, which one I want and what not? Yes, you get all the great videos and stuff, but to having all of that for gemstones really help customers filter, narrow, and get a handful of stones that they're looking at, not 20,000 they're looking at. So I think having that standardization really did help our customers, and frankly, it does help our wholesale customers as well at the same time, because having all of that really separates us even further. Because customers can know, okay, yes, I'm going off a video, but sometimes, if I go up my screen, I can take it, make it lighter, make it darker, so you can do. But having that also really helps at the same time. So I think that was also a big differentiator initially, why we were able to succeed with colored gemstones online versus some of the other people like, hey, here's a generic image. And now you're going to get something, not going to know exactly what you're going to get, but you're going to get something, in an emerald.
And to add to that, one aspect of our business, which we are seeing in the last 3 or 4 years, has really come about. We feel a lot of people are buying gemstone for investment purposes.
Yes.
So we carry a large inventory of untreated rare gemstones, where, for example, even a small size like a 1 carat untreated emerald, you would need to have 10,000. You could get 10,000 as many diamonds for that one rare untreated emerald.
They're really rare.
Extremely rare. They're very hard to find. And what happened, the rarity is good in two aspects. One is these days people want something different, something that nobody's going to have. So the untreated is extremely difficult to find. And a lot of people are wanting that. And also from an investment perspective, what's rare is bound to go up because there's only such limited opportunity to get those. And having that rarity really helps both in having something that you're wearing, which you're not going to find on another finger, and also for investment perspective as well.
And I don't think there was a time where my dad ever told me that colorstone prices went down. It's always the same story. They only go up because it's rarity, They truly are rare, much rarer than diamonds. And for that reason, we're almost like investors ourselves at the same time. We want to provide value, buy stones of value, so we can provide those gemstones at a great value to our customers. So we're very picky, we're very choosy in selecting the right gemstones, the right cutting, the right price points. And that really helps, I think, us in the both aspects that I mentioned in our business. So we've been really fortunate. And I think it's been great. We love looking at these gemstones. We love working with them. And, we've been blessed to be able to be in the family, to learn about these, to play with these, to educate customers.
We feel color runs in our blood.
Yes, so exactly. Absolutely. So yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story and your time today. And I always love to hear about small family-run businesses that really go above and beyond to kind of make their customers happy and bring their visions and their customers' visions to life. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. I really appreciate it.